Well, to talk a bit more about those tanks now bound for Ukraine, Rod Thornton joins me live. He's a Russian military expert at King's College London and has lived both in Moscow and in Kyiv. Thanks very much indeed for speaking to us on the programme. How big a difference, do you think these Western tanks will make on the battlefield?
I think we need to be a bit careful. I think you can supply several dozen tanks. Will it make a difference on the battlefield? And it's one thing supplying these tanks. It's another thing training the crews to operate these tanks. These are very much more sophisticated than the old Soviet tanks that are used by both the Russians and Ukrainians at the moment. It will take a lot of training to match up, to marry up the high-tech and modern tanks that are being supplied with the ability of their crews to use them to their greatest effect. So I think it's going to be a problem with the training for one reason, for one thing. And there will be other problems as well. The maintenance of these tanks is something the Ukrainians will have to very much get used to. They are sophisticated, or more sophisticated than the tanks they're using now. It's not an easy process to train up the personnel to marry up with these tanks.
And there's been much talk of a Russian spring offensive in the coming months. Do you think these tanks will be operational by then? And what do you think the Russian strategy will look like if that offensive does get underway?
It will, well, obviously, we'll see what happens. But the Leopard 2s will probably be supplied by late spring, I should imagine, once their crews and the whole maintenance kind of situation, the whole backup for these particular tanks is in place. And that will take several months, even for the Leopard 2s. For the M1 Abrams, the American tanks, that will take probably at least a year before those tanks are in operation in Ukraine. In terms of what the Russians will do, it's a question of when they launch their expected offensive in the spring. What will these new to the Ukrainians tanks do, the Leopard 2s? It depends how they will be used. But if they're going to be used in the defense, it seems to kind of nullify their actual kind of, why would you need these new tanks if you just use them in the defense? It would be more kind of sensible to supply the Ukrainians with anti-tank weapons rather than sophisticated tanks if the tanks are going to be in the defensive, i.e. dug in fixed positions and waiting for a Russian kind of onslaught using their tanks. Now, we should imagine that the Russians will be kind of ready to launch an offensive of some sort in the spring, because it will be demanded by Putin of his generals. But I don't think the number of tanks that are being supplied to the Ukrainians will make a difference if there is a major Russian offensive. Because we're talking dozens of tanks here and not perhaps hundreds that the Ukrainians want.
Just very briefly, sir, if you can, Ukraine has said, thanks for these tanks, but actually we'd quite like some fighter jets as well. Do you have any sense that an announcement like that might be imminent from a Western government?
No, I cannot imagine any Western government would supply sophisticated modern fighter aircraft, because you do need, as I said before, a huge backup, both logistics, maintenance, and also peripheral aspects like radars and anti-aircraft systems and airborne early warning radars that have to go with these aircraft. It's a huge step for the West to supply fighter aircraft to the Ukrainians.
Rod Thornton from King's College London. Thanks very much indeed, sir, for your time.
Yeah, thank you.